In 2008, my first film was Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie, and I've worked on 4 Bond films now, which is amazing. It's a pinch yourself moment, you know, sitting there in Bond's Aston. In 2008, my first film was Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie, and I've worked on 4 Bond films now, which is amazing. It's a pinch yourself moment, you know, sitting there in Bond's Aston. I mean, as a Stig, one of the things I was known for was teaching celebrities, and I really enjoyed, you know, the fact that everybody's different, and some people are too cautious, some people are over exuberant, had Ranulph Fiennes, who I fairly was convinced the minute he dropped the clutch, he was going to try and kill me.
So guys, I have a very, very special guest. We were walking through the here earlier before you lovely people got in here, and I bumped into this man here, and you may recognise him probably from not your face, right? From a helmet normally being covering your face. You're the Stig, right?
That's it, yeah, great to be here. Good morning, everybody, almost lunchtime. And yeah, it's such a pleasure being surrounded by a lot of other petrol heads and meeting you for the first time and seeing all this crazy cars, some of which you own, which I think is pretty exciting.
No, I don't own this one. I do own a lot of the stuff that's in it, and I've owned a few 70 Chargers and stuff like that, and movie cars as well. And there's probably some of the cars I've owned you've driven, because I knew you were a petrolhead. I knew you were the Stig, and I know you do a lot of stunt driving, but I didn't know you doubled as Vin Diesel too at some point.
And as a chair, which I showed you earlier. So yeah, I got into movie making in 2008. My first film was Quantum of Solace, the James Bond movie, and I've worked on 4 Bond films now, which is amazing. It's a pinch yourself moment, you know, sitting there in Bond's Aston in a pinstripe suit, ripping it around Lake Garda. That was my first big introduction to movie making, and ended up doubling Vin Diesel in a Dodge Charger. So a more recent one than this, it was 2012. I think we filmed Fast and Furious 6. So that was streets of London, driving around the Big Bird.
Yep.
The old car, which was that was a handful. So I was drifting that round Piccadilly Circus. It was two of us.
Was that the burgundy Plymouth Superbird with a big wing on the back?
Yeah, that's it. So it looked great. The handling was dubious. It had a big Chevy lump engine, so it had about 450 horsepower, which is grand. But the stuff you want for drifting, really you want a clutch and not an automatic. So I had an automatic, so it was all in, it just stuck it in D. And the other thing you want for drifting is, if you can, you want to be able to turn the steering as far around as you can to control it. And it had been lowered, so when you turned the steering sort of 30 degrees, the wheels got jammed in the wheel arches. So I cringe when I look at all these lowered cars with the camber. All I think about is what it would be like to push them really hard. But yeah, it's an old habit, dies hard.
It's funny, so everyone thinks that D stands for drive, but clearly in this case, it's standing for drift, right?
That's it, yeah. It's it D for drift, and what was it, R for, I can't remember, the reserve.
Really fast.
Really fast, that's it. Yeah, it's great.
So, you know, you're known world famous for being the Stig, probably one of the most famous drivers in the world, realistically, that the world knows. But now you're coming into the influencer side. You've opened up your YouTube page, which is, what's your YouTube handle so everyone can find you?
So on Ben Collins Drives, which has been a really, a fun thing to get into. I just was oblivious to the world of YouTube all those years at Top Gear, and you're completely spoiled working on movies. Everything's sort of laid out. You turn up, you come up with some ideas, and you work together as a team to make stuff happen. But all in the background was doing this TV stuff. YouTube was exploding, and people were building these incredible audiences, really igniting that passion for motoring and everything else that you could possibly think of under the sun. All there, stuff that you do, all the builds and the crazy stuff, and it just really passed a lot of us by. You know, it's only just now really catching up with huge opportunities that are out there to have a lot of fun and do crazy stuff with cars, which is what I love doing.
That's it. I mean, there's lots of big names here. We've got Matt Armstrong, Freddie Tavares, Ratarossa, the Bearded Explorer. There's so many people here that are exploding worldwide, which people can just get their phone out wherever you're on the bus, you're in the shower, you're having a laugh and you want to go free and see what's up to. People are experiencing different areas which they would never know. I mean, there's car YouTubers building houses at the moment, and it's opening up a whole new demographic. Is there anything that, obviously you're the car guy, is there anything you want to do? Because YouTube allows you to have no restrictions. You can do anything you want. Is there anything is on your bucket list you want to go for?
There really is. So, I mean, I love driving cars and reviewing them, but I also love, as a Stig, one of the things I was known for was teaching celebrities, and I really enjoyed, the fact that everybody's different, and some people are too cautious, Some people are over exuberant, had Ranulph Fiennes, who I fairly was convinced the minute he dropped the clutch, he was going to try and kill me. And he was actually unaware that I was even in the car with him, so I had to actually punch him in the helmet and sort of calm him down. So we're all different, and we all learn at different ways. And it'd be really fun to pit human beings against one another. We're watching sort of white-collar boxing. So what I'd like to do is get people like Tavarish, you, and some others, and put you through your paces on a track and have a full-on battle on track. I think that'd be fun.
I think we could do a battle of the influencers. Who's the fastest influencer?
The fastest YouTuber.
Exactly. Who's the world's fastest YouTuber?
That's my goal. So yeah, I'm starting off. I've actually got hold of. So I'm working with a couple of partners. We've dug out some Suzuki Lianas, some old Suzukis, the reasonably priced car. That's going to be wheeled out later this year, and going to start putting people back on the track at Dunsfold and seeing what they can do. That's one way of doing it, but I'm really open to anything. We could do drift cars. We could come up. This is the opportunities are endless.
The world is your oyster.
It is. I hope so.
I think people don't understand that. We all think that being a TV presenter or being a influencer is unachievable and it's something you can't do. But these guys here can set up a YouTube page, get their phone out and be walking around here doing a video, because I think the most important thing is getting this out there for free. People can access it for nothing. You don't have to have a TV license, you don't have to have any of that, and people can see what you're doing on a daily basis. So, how can they find you also on Instagram? Because you're on a different handle for Instagram, right?
I am. So that's Ben Collins Stig
Yep.
on Instagram, and I've got my YouTube links up there as well to make that a bit easier. And Facebook is Ben Collins Drives.
Okay.
Again, so I'm up there. But yeah, primary thing is YouTube, and like you say, the beautiful thing is there's no barriers, and if you can film something that's interesting, people will engage with it, and you're off. So I'm having a lot of fun.
I like that. So Petronas Underground, this is the first time we have done this in a car park, especially at Wembley. We've taken over Nebworth House, and we did Petrohedonism at Nebworth, which was live, and we had Richard Rawlins and influencers from all over the world come and check it out. And then now he's taken it another step. So without Fast and the Furious and that era and that saga, we wouldn't have ever thought about having an underground car show with music and cool cars, right?
Yeah, it's mega. When I look at a big space like this, all I can think about is the other floors and what terrible stunts we could do with that space. So I love it. It's great seeing everything, and we can all have a conversation and we can hear each other talking and get some great filming, see some great cars. I think one thing I'd definitely be keen to do is to get these things moving and make some noise with them. There's a lovely stretch of road out there, a beautiful corner, perfect for linking a couple of drifts together. I fancy that for next time.
I think it'd be quite funny if we could recreate the drift scenes from Tokyo Drift out there.
Yeah.
And then what we found out a little while ago, me and Chiro, we flew out to LA and we were filming in the underground car parks. And there's a guy called Craig Lieberman, who's one of the technical directors for the first two movies. And he said, Tokyo Drift is actually filmed in LA. It was never filmed in Tokyo.
There you go.
So we broke into, we paid off the security guard to let us in. And we went to the actual Drift King roundabout where he drifts up the car park.
Yep.
And on the floor is that heavily thick paint where they've covered over the Japanese writing on the floor. So I'm sure that between us we can come up with some elaborate video which we can recreate some cool stuff.
100%. That sounds like a film. We might need to talk sweetly to Avis, rent a couple of rear-wheel drive cars and try it, just in case, in case we scratch one.
A massive thanks for being here. I really appreciate it. This man, this legend, is walking around the show just like you guys. He turned up to see what was going on, and you're enjoying it. Everyone else is enjoying it. Let's throw some music on, guys. We have about 8 minutes until we have Mr. Ratarossa on the stage here, and then we've got all these lovely influencers joining you. Give him a phone, give him a like, give him a subscribe, get your phone out, get on there now, and thanks for gracing us with on the stage. Thank you very much.
See you behind the wheel. Have fun, guys. See you soon.
Thanks, guys. Quick reminder, hit that subscribe button, the like button, and then the bell button, so you get alerts when we release new episodes, and follow us on social media too for extra stuff and more alerts about videos we're releasing, which at the moment is every Sunday and the odd Wednesday too. Bye for now.